A criminal or a sheriff? You know what they say, get you a man who can do both. What? They don't exist in real life? Well, I say they do. As you know, Rockstar is one of those game companies that has been successfully able to create groundbreaking games in expansive settings. I consider them to be one of my favorite game companies. I also personally believe that they all exist in the same universe, but that's for another video for another time. I've already made one about two GTA protagonists that happen to be the same person. Click here if you want to see that one. Anyway, I was thinking about these games, and I wondered if any of these games had any characters that had real-life counterparts. Now, I'm not saying that Rockstar based their characters off of these real people, but whether or not there are people who exist in real life whom are somewhat represented in the game, I mean, there has to be, as these games essentially are based in reality. A satirical version, albeit, but real nonetheless. If you haven't played Red Dead Redemption, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Taking place in the Old West, former outlaw gang member John Marston leaves his criminal life to live a ranch lifestyle when his family is kidnapped. Marston is forced to become a pseudo-lawman for the Marshal Service. Knowing how Rockstar operates in their games, Marston has to go through a long session of different missions to save his family, and, spoilers, he gets murdered by a mob of the government. Now, when I was researching for references for this character, I had to accept that there is no real-life person that directly matches this character's biography. Most likely, Rockstar took inspiration from a multitude of fictional Western characters like Clint Eastwood and others. You see, there are very few results for outlaws turned lawmen because most of them were lawmen that turned into outlaws. So it made the search a lot harder. However, I was able to find someone who essentially matched Marston's biography, barring a few extra details. And that would be Henry Newton Brown, an American Old West gunman who turned into a lawman for the state of Kansas. To give you a brief background of his life, Brown was a member of the notable gang of gunmen known as the Regulators, which included notable members such as Billy the Kid. They eventually settled in the Texas Panhandle and decided to retire his life after a warrant was issued for his involvement for the murder of a local sheriff. He settled in the small town of Caldwell, Kansas, and was hired as an assistant marshal and was later promoted to head marshal. After a while, Brown decided to stage a bank robbery in Medicine Lodge, Kansas. Afterwards, a mob surrounded him and his gang, and they were promptly arrested. Afterwards, he was executed by a ton of bullets when trying to escape. Now, as I said, there is no person in real life that directly matches John Marston's lifestyle. However, the similarities between them are numerous. First, both were members of gangs, with Marston being part of the fictional Duchess gang, and Brown being part of the actual Regulators gang, both with well-known members. In the end, both quit their lifestyles after unfavorable situations come about, Marston being injured and Brown being implicated in a serious crime. Both eventually became lawmen for the government, the only difference being that Marston was forced to become one and Brown chose to. And they both die by a mob in a barrage of bullets. Now the big difference between them is that Brown never turned his life around. He went back to his old ways to commit a serious robbery. He died trying to escape from the law. And with Marston, most of Marston's actions were committed with good intentions. When he was double-crossed by the people he was working for, he decided to sacrifice himself to save his family. Essentially, the real-life Brown was more despicable than the fictional Marston. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and let me know if you want some more of these. I plan on making these every once in a while. The next one I plan on making is about Tommy Vercetti from GTA Vice City. So be sure to hit that like button.